Hi, my name is Sean. I was born and raised in the Philippines. I moved to Vancouver about 12 years ago. So I studied in Vancouver and worked there for a bit before moving here to Montreal to pursue my master's. I am part of the 5th cohort of Max Bell, and I'm excited to be here. Before Max Bell, I was working at the federal government, specifically at Immigration, Refugees and Citizenship Canada as a senior immigration officer. In that role, I was researching and investigating refugee files, and it is in that role that I realized how important policy is when it comes to helping marginalized groups, especially immigrants and asylum seekers, and that's what sparked my interest in a public policy program like the one I'm in now. So I would say there are 3 primary things that I like about my experience here at Max Bell. 1, my cohort. I really love my cohort. We're from different backgrounds, different countries, different careers, but we all get along really well. And it just makes the experience here at Max Bell really different in a good way, because I know that I have that support system around me. The second thing that I liked is having close relationships with the instructors and the professors here. They all know each of us really well, and we are able to go to their office whenever we want to, and that just changes the program and really makes the program personal, and I really love that. And the third thing that I like about Max Bell is the different opportunities that arise in terms of extracurricular activities. So for example, I am an associate editor for The Bell, which is a newsletter that we regularly publish. I also had the opportunity to create and found the Bellwether, which is the student podcast that we're doing. Right now we have 2 published episodes on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, and we have 4 more on the line to get published. So I'm really excited that the entire cohort has rallied to host their own podcasts and produce their own podcasts. We also have our own intramural volleyball and soccer teams, and I think that just goes to show how much fun we're having, not just in classrooms, but also outside classrooms. In terms of policy areas that interest me the most, it has changed since the beginning of the program. I think going into the program, I was really focused on pursuing a career in immigration policy, and I still am, but I would say that has broadened into more general international relations / national security policy. That really is interesting to me, but because of my work in immigration and the courses that I've taken here, such as a case study in Quebec and immigration, I'm also now interested in housing policy, which is directly related to immigration, but it's a big policy area in and of itself. I'm also interested in more general policy issues that are related to economic inequality. And so having courses like the one that we just had about macroeconomics and microeconomics has really shaped my thinking around those policy areas. One of the challenges I faced at Immigration, Refugees and Citizenship Canada when I was working there, and which is also one of the main reasons why I applied to Max Bell, were the policies that the federal government implemented during COVID, when there were lockdowns, and especially at the border when the border was shut down. I was reviewing refugee files and asylum claims from applicants who were in danger in their home country but were stuck either from the US border or at the Canadian border and couldn't go anywhere else. I realized that I was reviewing files from applicants who were ineligible to apply because of the Safe Third Country Agreement, which meant that if they had come from the United States to come to Canada, they were not eligible to apply to for an asylum claim here in Canada. And I realized how helpless I was in that role. Even though I was a public servant, I realized that I was not helping the people that I wanted to help, and that how much policy, specifically policies from the federal government, impacted the situation of those people in precarious situations. And that's really what prompted me to pursue a career in public policy, and what motivated me to apply to a public policy school. So my work around youth engagement in my community has revolved around advocating for youth voices, especially youth immigrant voices at the tables, policy decision-making tables. It could be at the municipal level, provincial level, and at the federal level. Most recently, I did a lot of work in my home city of Surrey, British Columbia, where I work closely with city officials to persuade them to invite immigrant and refugee youth to decision-making tables when it comes to school policies, for example, housing policies, poverty reduction policies. And I realized from that experience that in a lot of these policy decision-making tables, youth have to advocate for themselves in order for them to be included in decision-making processes. So I hope that when I start my own policy career, I can help change that so that it is automatic, and it is by design that we're including and we're seeking out more diverse voices, including youth voices, LGBTQ plus voices, youth immigrant and refugee voices into these decision-making tables, because they're the ones who are experiencing the impacts of policies that policymakers are creating. So the more feedback and the more input that we have from diverse voices, the more that we are able to create policies that are inclusive for all. So I hope that I will be able to do that in my policy career. So my favorite thing to do here in Montreal is to go to brunch and visit different brunch places. My favorite one so far is Janine Cafe in Verdun. But I also like just going to different events and activities that Montreal has. So for example, about 3 weeks ago, we went to Nuit Blanche. Is that what it is? We went to Nuit Blanche, and I really enjoyed just being able to go to different museums and seeing different art, and also listening to different DJs, and going outside to party with just different crowds in Montreal. I also, in the winter, I really liked just going to different ice skating rinks and going to public outdoor ice skating rinks here in Montreal, which was really fun and made me love winter.